Manual transmissions are better than automatic transmissions because they give you more control, they keep you more engaged, they're more reliable, and there's some things exclusive to a manual that an automatic just can't provide. The first thing that makes a manual transmission better is that you're in full control. You can choose the gear ratio you want, you can choose how much torque are going to the wheels of the vehicle. In an automatic, you just have to press the gas and hope that it shifts wherever you need it to. In a manual, Tremec states, there's no computer that thinks it knows better than you about driving and shifting. That allows you to stay at high RPMs, or if you want to be in low RPMs, you can. You just choose. It's up to you. In my personal experience using a manual, I have this old truck, and it's got a small 4-cylinder engine in it, and it's not meant to tow or pull. It's not big enough to do that. But because of the manual, I had to pull a trailer with a commercial-sized lawnmower in it. I shouldn't have been able to do that, and because of the manual, I was able to keep it in a lower gear and get more torque. That way I could pull hills if I needed to. I got where I needed to go, and I made it, and the manual is the only reason that I was able to do a job that I shouldn't have been able to do based on the engine size. Another thing that makes a manual better is they keep you more engaged with your surroundings. Geico states, since you need both hands to drive a stick, it's much harder to send a text at the same time, eat food, or change a playlist. Distracted driving is incredibly dangerous. It's more difficult to be distracted when you have to stay ready to move at any time. You don't want to be stuck somewhere doing something when you have a whole line of cars behind you. You're going to upset people, and you're not ready to go. So, the less distracted you are, the better and safer you will be. Another thing that is better about manuals is that they're generally more reliable. Jiffy Lube says that manual transmission cars, on the other hand, have a much lower chance of failure, and if something does go wrong, they're usually cheaper to fix. That means not only do they break less, which is amazing considering anything breaking on a vehicle is expensive now, they're cheaper than an automatic to fix. They're simpler machines, so they're going to break less, and they're cheaper to fix. In my personal experience with my truck is 34 years old. My manual transmission is doing great. It shifts fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that has ever gone wrong was a 34-year-old cable that snapped. And a 34-year-old metal cable that's been pressed thousands of times. I mean, that's insane. This part was only like $30, and it took me 15 minutes to replace. A 15-minute job that I did myself for a $30 part. That's the only thing that has ever messed up. Cheap. Cheap and reliable. It wasn't actually the transmission, it was how you actuate the transmission that broke. There are a few more things that make a manual better than an automatic, some of them coming down to personal preference and opinion. One of them is the ability to roll start. A roll start is when you start your car without using your electric starter. So, what it does is your vehicle moving turns over the engine. So, say your battery is dead and you're parked on a hill. Well, you don't have to call anybody to come help you because where you're at, you have gravity to help you. You start to coast in neutral, and then as you're moving, you put it into a gear and slowly release the clutch, and that turns your transmission, which then turns your engine because they're connected at that point. It spins up your engine and you're started without an electric starter. So if your battery's dead, you can do it. An automatic can't do that. You can't roll start with an automatic. It doesn't work. Another thing is it's not as practical, but it still stands. It's more that it's just more fun. With a manual, you have a clutch. And so you can rev up your engine and with your clutch pressed in, and then you can dump the clutch and you can do a really awesome burnout. That's more of a fun element that you can't do with an automatic, but it still stands. Another thing, and the last reason, is it's just more fun. In my experience, I don't enjoy driving an automatic as much as I do a manual. It doesn't have that, to say, challenge. It's not really a challenge once you get it. It's just, you have to be ready and be there and fully knowing what you're doing every second you're driving. And also, you can sometimes feel like Fast and Furious and drive like a maniac, but you're not really driving like a maniac. Another thing is within the fun region is, like, say the light turns green and you're ready to go. You dump the clutch, not really doing a burnout, but it's more controlled, and you gas it right off the line and you're shifting gears, and it's just a ton of fun. You can't beat that. In conclusion, manual transmissions are superior to automatic transmissions because they provide more control, keep you more engaged, are more reliable, and there are elements of driving a stick that just aren't there in manual transmissions. My power sentence: manual transmissions are far superior to automatic transmissions because they just simply offer more to the driver.